We spoke to Ali Plum a few years ago and he said, no dream job is what you imagine it to be. So I very much came from student radio. I kind of dived into a little bit of radio and enjoying it when I was a lot younger, but I really kind of got into it through college and through university. So in terms of my specific sort of upbringing in radio, so I studied sort of radio production at the University of Sunderland, so very much sort of part of the Spark FM alumni, and I won the university's actually first Gold SRA award back in 2011 for a radio documentary I made about how to survive a zombie apocalypse. So because of that, arguably, it eventually led me to getting my dream job in radio eventually in 2016. We spoke to Ali Plum a few years ago and he said, no dream job is what you imagine it to be. And when you sort of see that quote, there are kind of two sides of that really. There's the positive side of, hey, you never know what it is. You might be doing a pretty mundane job, but after a little bit of doing it, that's actually what you want to do. Sure, you might have wanted to get into presenting, but the job you're doing to get there might actually be the one that you want to end up doing. In my case, though, it's sort of like the flip side, the negative side of that, which is that what I believed would be my dream job very quickly became a bit of a nightmare. Hired as a radio producer for quite a well-known sort of national radio station. There was a lot of things that were outside of my control that I was supposed to still be responsible for. So, if a presenter had come in and they had voice tracked incorrectly, it put all the adverts out of whack, which may not necessarily sound like a big deal, but doing that means that a certain ad break is missed, and that's thousands of pounds of revenue missed, and the advertiser's wondering when their ad's going to get played. And, that led to having very little sleep just due to being very anxious and very stressed, and ultimately kind of sort of was the beginning of the end really for my career there. And one thing I've said to a lot of sort of people here who've kind of stopped for a chat is that, yeah, sure, when we're in university studying radio and broadcasting, we learn very much the art of that. So we understand how to do radio and, why it's important and, presenting techniques and, all things like that. But university doesn't really teach you about the industry itself and how the industry operates. And you want to get those jobs, you want to say yes to opportunities, but it's incredibly important, because I didn't do this, it's incredibly important to recognise your self-worth.